burger.
Wicked, I'm excited.
A naughty burger is the dish that Ellie misses most of all since turning vegan. So I've devised her a veggie version that's juicy, vibrant, and packed with flavour and colour. You want that kind of junky, naughty sort of burger vibe going on. Obviously, there's no meat in the equation, but we still want it to be just finger-licking, like, gorgeous, a thing you've got to attack. First up, we've got really nutritious, incredible things that are in your freezer. So even if you go away for 3 months, you can come back and knock this out. Sweet corn.
Yeah, I've got some sweet corn.
200 grams, frozen. Peas, 200 grams, frozen. Broad beans, 200 grams.
Cool.
So we can remember that, yeah?
Yeah.
Very, very simple. Add a heaped tablespoon of flour and give it some punch with a teaspoon of cayenne, a teaspoon of cumin, and a bunch of coriander. And all I'm going to do is wazz it up. It's that little bit of flour and the temperature that makes it kind of glue together. As you can see, there's only nice things going in here. Add a tablespoon each of sunflower and sesame seeds, and we're ready to shape the burger patties. Think snowballs when you're a kid, like that. So just roll it in that flour and just sort of hug it. Just put
Why is yours so good? Wow.
I was good at mud pies when I was a kid.
Oh no, mine's falling apart. No! I don't even want to move that now, because that's perfect.
Fine. That is... Oh, let me just... Yeah, maybe not that one. OK. But good job. Apart from that, good job.
Aww.
Just really squeeze it together. Yeah, be tough.
OK, that's a bit better.
OK, that's it. A little bit of brute force does help. So, darling, are you all right to make that recipe like 4 or 5 times? I've got more stuff here.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Do you remember the recipe?
200...
All that stuff?
200 all of this, and then a little teaspoon of these things.
Lovely.
That'll do.
Do you think they're ready for your food?
Probably not.
OK. Well, good luck.
Well, did he do that? Was there anything else? I don't think so. Ah.
Everyone, Ellie's cooking now. Normally you'd have mayonnaise, or a version of mayonnaise in a burger. We're not going there because there's the egg. So I kind of developed a sauce for Yao, and it's really simple. It's a riff on a hummus, but with a lot looser texture and loads more flavour. To a blender, add 2 heaped tablespoons of chickpeas, 1 teaspoon of sun-dried tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of mustard, and a tablespoon of ketchup. And then just a little brandy in the classic kind of cocktail sauce.
Awesome.
Just a dribble.
Then
boring. I want a kind of little hum of flavour. Add 2 spring onions, half a clove of garlic, and season. I've got a little bit of a problem for chilies. Do you like spice?
I love spice.
Yeah, it's not going to be super hot, you know, but just a little bit of chili to give it like that nice background kind of heat. And then I'm going to whiz it up. Just like a traditional mayo, I like to drizzle in plenty of extra virgin olive oil. And finally, a good squeeze of lemon. Take good old-fashioned iceberg lettuce, hold this up and give it a bang. No, hold it up, hold it in your hand, and then just slam it down. Beautiful. What I'm going to do is just roll this up and finally slice it.
And good chopping. I keep saying...
How's your chopping, by the way?
Terrible. No, God, I'm left-handed as well.
Are you?
Yeah.
That changes everything.
So what were you...
Stop. OK, we need to do a little lesson on that. Stop. Jesus. These are worth a fortune. Oh, yeah. Stop. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. There you go. Good job. Next, in with the sauce and give it a good old toss around. Lovely. And that just sits in it, so it kind of goes a little bit soggy. And that'll go on the bun, your patty on top. Patties made, sauce made, now it's time for the trimmings. A burger's not a burger without garnishes. So we're slicing up some tomatoes and fresh basil. Next up, avocado. And I've got a great tip to stop it going brown. Just squeeze that lime juice over the top. That'll stop it discolouring, and you can keep it there for like an hour.
I'm learning a lot today.
Before Ellie starts knocking these out for the rest of the calf, I'm going to show her how to make the perfect burger. Look at that, nice and crispy.
Amazing.
And you've got that kind of, you've got that golden crunch, and then in here you've got that kind of really fluoro green.
Such a good colour.
On the top of here, we're going to add just a little bit, not too much, of that lovely salad base that you did. Just take a little bit of your lovely tomato, like that. Then, so we push that down, And then on top of that, we're going to go to our avocado.
This is going to be, like, literally the best burger ever.
A few naughty pickles.
Love pickles.
And then a little hit up of old school retro cress. And then one crunchy onion ring, boom. And then last but not least, ketchup
Obviously.
on top. So there's a lot to remember here, babes.
I know.
And then, my friends, we build the Ellies Burger.
Whee!
A nice little handful of cute stuff. And it's always
This is
important
awesome.
just to give it a little bit of body, go on, give it a little push. And then the only thing to do is to pick it up with 2 hands. Don't cut it in half, and just do that thing of putting it in your gob and eating it. You can do that in private. Get it in your gob, in that corner, no one will see it.
I can't do it, honestly, I can't. It's too big.
I know. I'm hoping that you love it.
It is amazing, yeah. Best burger I've ever had.
That's good.
More than a meat burger back in the day.
Well, see all these lonely people in the audience. Look, they look sad, don't you? They're not hungry.
Have I got it from my mouth?
You've got to cook one for every single person here.
I must say, it is really, really, really good.
Well, don't just say it. It's time to cook it. We're going to make the most delicious veggie shepherd's pie. This is, in fact, vegan. This is going to be good on the planet, it's going to be good on your wallet, and it's going to be good in your tummy, right? It's going to be delicious. No compromise happening here. So let's get cooking. We're going to go in with some nice olive oil. About 2 tablespoons goes in, right? We'll put it onto a medium heat. I'm going to start the flavour story with a herb. To use a nice little pile of rosemary in this dish is a good trigger for big flavour. Roughly chop the rosemary. So the rosemary goes in. As you get a little bit of a fry on there, let's add some garlic. So we're now going to add the first veggies. Just, you know, standard mushrooms, button mushrooms, little kind of brown mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, whatever you can get your hand on. You can break these up like that. Also, dried mushrooms are a massive, like, trick if you're veggie vegan and you're craving that depth of flavour that you can easily access from meat. So mushrooms I put in first, season a little bit now to get that seasoning into the veggies. You can go quite heavy on the pepper. On the story of spices, that is about a tablespoon of ground coriander goes in. Delicious. Okay, a little cheat, a little hack. It's not cheaper, actually, but it's a good conversation starter. In the supermarket, you have got frozen chopped veg. So convenience here, what we have here is celery, carrots, onions, right? So a whole bag goes in. It's frozen. You can take a handful. This is a really brilliant product to have in your freezer. I'm going to turn the heat up now. And I want to let this fry off for about 5 minutes to concentrate the flavours, get them golden and get them caramelised. Most of the time, those frozen bags of chopped veg are more expensive than buying the raw stuff. But let's look at the upside. It's frozen. You can take a little bit or use the whole lot. It's already chopped for you. It's blended as a mix, which is kind of convenient, and there's no waste. I'm taking this down, and it's currently quite moist in here, but what's nice is all the flavours are mixing around. We're getting darker, guys. We're getting darker. That's what we want. So this has been frying for like 15 minutes, and you'll notice that the volume has gone down. Look at that. It already smells good. Okay, so when doing a beautiful ragu, bolognese, you know, mincemeat dish, you know, using wine or beer is quite common. There are eggs used in the fining process of red wine, okay? So have a look on the back of the label, you know, to make sure, is it vegan or not vegan? So go in with a good glass. Cheers. So can you see how we've now gone back in seconds to a dry pan, okay? At this point, now I add our proteins in the form of lentils, and then I'll go in with tinned chickpeas. So once we've done that, what we need is a little bit of stock. Now you can buy veggie stock, right? But I just want to give you like a little cheat on how you can make your own. Just boil a kettle and use, this is porcini, but I really genuinely do use dried mushrooms. You just put a little handful like that in, right? That's all you need. The flavour is phenomenal. Also, if you wanted to pep up some flavour, like you can cheat with a little bit of Marmite, just a little spoon like that goes in. Just a little thimble of soy sauce. The other one is miso, amazing flavour. So these are all really good tips. Then if you've got any herbs lying around, you know, you can put those in, right? But essentially we're making a cup of tea. It's an infusion. You know, if you're using carrots and you've got peel, you know, right, you can still, you know, be clever about it. This will taste phenomenal. So let's just move it about. Oh, it's good. How much effort was that? There's one last ingredient. You could use tomato puree, you could use tinned tomatoes. I'm using just a little clutch, you know, 10 or 12 sun-dried tomatoes. Sunshine, optimism, hope, little pops of sweetness. You know, as we add our stock now, this is essentially the equivalent of our mincemeat, our bolognese-esque type ragu. And the mushrooms can go in, by the way, not the herbs. The little masher, just gently crush, just to lose, you know, that blatant shape of the chickpea. Okay, so we're done. Turn it off. Normally at home, I would just fill this pan with mashed potato now. But I do want to make it a bit more fancy, just because, you know, we're making a cooking show. It's a little bit wetter than you would think, but remember, it's going to carry on baking in the oven, and I do want it to kind of be blippy and gorgeous. So into that dish, I'm going to go on top with my mashed potato, just boiled, mashed. Instead of butter, nice extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper, a little bit of nutmeg. It's really nice. You can make it really flat if you want, but I quite like it rustic like this. Look at that. That's basically 1.5 kilos of potatoes. Last but not least, before I pop it in the oven, I'm going to put a little oil over the top of the potatoes and purposefully use a different herb, thyme. If you put in, you know, 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil, like that, right? And get in there like this, and then squeeze it through. That will guarantee you flavour, but a nice crispy finish. That's a really simple way of making a definitively convincing herb oil. In the oven it goes now for about half an hour, 40 minutes until golden, blipping and delicious. So in we go. Delish. Okay, so this beautiful veggie shepherd's pie has had 35 minutes. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. What I loved about this, can you see here? Look at that. So we've got that incredible gravy blipping away here, cooking into the potatoes, giving you soggy, tasty potatoes. We've got the crispy potatoes on top, little gnarly, crispy bits here. Look at that, look, sticky bits. Like really, really nice. Like almost like the best bits. Yum. So that, I would treat like a normal shepherd's pie. Gorgeous. Some lovely seasonal greens that you can just toss with a little bit of olive oil. So let's go in for the kill. Come on, let's get in there, into the heart and soul of this beautiful veggie shepherd's pie. Look at that. You can see this is going to feed nicely like a big old group of people. Look at that. Serve this with whatever lovely sort of steamed or boiled veggies you can get your hands on. I've just got a little bit of kale here, mustard and brown sauce. Really, really nice. Not that it's traditional, but a little bit of ketchup as well is definitely the done thing in our house. Enough yapping. Time to have a little taste. And let's get in there. Yummy texture. First thing, the texture, it is very similar to what you get in a typical meat sort of stew ragu. Experimenting, having fun, and being open-minded. So there you go. Happy cooking. That's delicious. It's really good. We're going big on flavour, guys. Creamy coconut and pumpkin rice and a tongue-tingling butterbean stew. We're doing pumpkin rice. In here, 800 millilitres of boiling water, and then add some coconut cream. And we want 100 grams. Bring that to the boil, and we'll start to scent that with beautiful things. The Scotch bonnet. And they are hot, but they have fruity, apricot-y flavours that I just love. I want to add some more flavours, pimento or allspice. We just need 4 of these. It's a wonderfully aromatic West Indian spice, like having cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg and pepper rolled into one. Simmer those along with half a bunch of thyme. Straight in there. Beautiful. These are the classic flavours of Jamaica. Bash up 4 spring onions to release the flavour and cut them in half. And then get it straight in there. We are making pumpkin rice, so I want 400 grams, which will be about a quarter of this little beauty. Peel, de-seed and chunk it up. Look at the colour. Slice up 400 grams of cabbage and get it in. Season with half a teaspoon of salt and pepper, cover and cook for 10 minutes. For the all-important rice, rinse 450 grams of basmati. In I'll go with the rice. Right, lid on top. 12 minutes of cooking. Let the moisture absorb into it, then we'll switch it off and let it just steam for a little bit. And now we've got enough time to make a really simple but gorgeous bean stew that you're gonna love. Slice and fry 2 cloves of garlic, the remaining thyme and onion, and 200 grams of juicy ripe cherry tomatoes. Toss. Next veggie, okra. 200 grams of these, and this is a classic vegetable of the Caribbean. It's an extraordinary veggie that can be used a bit like green beans. If you haven't tried them before, give them a go. And then sprinkle these straight in. Come on! Salt and pepper, a lid on top, and we'll let that cook for about 7 or 8 minutes, just until everything's beautifully softened. Let's have a look over here with the rice. The Scotch bonnet here has done its job, and then what we're going to do is take this apart and add this to the beautiful stew, so double use chilli. Reduce its intensity by removing the skin and seeds. Add half first. That's a generous half though. In you go. Give it a nice little toss over. Let that cook. Then, very importantly, let's clean down that board. And definitely wash your hands. Then go in with a 700 gram jar of butterbeans, juice and all. I think that's the biggest butterbean I've ever seen. Look at that. Gordon Bennett. And just warm them through. Let's plate this up. Here's the amazing bean stew. It's absolutely smelling gorgeous. And then, of course, the rice. Out of the dark pan comes a little golden ray of sunlight. Look at that. Together, what a pair. I've even got a little extra bit of chili sauce. You have to try this because the taste and flavours are going to be so delicious. The question is, where to start? I say a bit of everything. That Scotch bonnet heat is a thing of joy. That pumpkin rice is bonkersly tasty. This is really, really good. The recipe I'm going to give you today is a family-friendly, delicious, mild, fragrant veggie curry. Really, really nice. We're also getting towards the end of the Oliver shopping, so we've got no more meat, no more fish in the fridge. So we've got odds and ends, and that's fine. I've got a humble courgette, carrots, bit of parsnip, bit of butternut squash. Of course, you could use potatoes, cauliflower, sweet potato, anything that roasts up, nice sort of like root vegetables, delicious. When you roast the veg, you're really concentrating the beautiful flavours within each individual veg. So tray here, we're going to create a little bit of a landing strip. You could use a curry powder if you so wish. I've got some leftover Madras spice paste here. I don't want much, like a heaped teaspoon is all I'm going to use. Then I'm going to hit it up with some oil. 2 tablespoons will go in there. And then a little bit of vinegar. So I'll mix that up and that will coat them all and season them all in the most delicious way. Easy peasy. Now, In here also I'm gonna put a salt, and then we're gonna go veg. We're gonna leave the skins on. A lot of the flavor, a lot of the sweetness and deliciousness is in the skin, okay? And that includes the butternut squash, okay? A lot of people spend a lot of time peeling this. Forget it. Peeling this, forget it. And this, forget it, right? So let's start with the parsnip. Split it in half, then in quarters, then into bite-sized chunks. In we go. With the carrots, I'm just gonna split those in half, all roughly around the same size. Then we have courgette. With the butternut squash, chunk them up. So in with the squash. Last but not least, humble frozen veg. So there's 6 of us eating this curry, so 6 florets of cauliflower. So just mix all that up. And there you go. Beautiful dressed squash for roasting. Follow me, Jules. So this will go in the bottom of a hot oven, about 190 degrees Celsius, maybe 200, for about 45 to 50 minutes until just beautiful and golden looking. So while the veg is roasting off and getting even more tasty, I want to create like a sauce for them to get stirred into. I'm going to get a big pan on a medium heat. I'm going to get some ginger, thumb-sized piece of ginger, and about the same of garlic, and I'm just going to finely chop it, okay? We'll go in with some oil, about a tablespoon. The garlic and ginger, put that into your oil, which is heating up. So stir that around. The smell will be incredible. And as that starts to brown off and do beautiful things, I'm then going to go in with 2 tablespoons of mango chutney. And this will start to caramelize a little bit. If you haven't got that, you could cheat with like apricot jam and a little bit of sort of spice from your spice shelf. I'm going to get some tinned tomatoes. I've used chopped tinned tomatoes. It could be plum, scrunch them up. Could be passata, even chopped fresh tomatoes, delicious. As soon as this has come to the boil, we're going to season it with salt, and I'm then going to add some coconut milk. Now, of course, you could use regular milk, and that'll be fine. It'll give it that sort of creaminess, but the coconut milk gives it this incredible deliciousness. So in that goes, look at that. So we'll bring that to the boil. That is the most delicious, fragrant curry sauce ever. So the minute it comes to the boil, off. So let's check on the veg. They've had about 50 minutes. And if you look in here, hopefully, yes. Look at that, that's what we want. See the charring? That is flavour, maximum flavour. Now, if I just show you up here, I've got the sauce here simmering away. So what I have to do now is get these veggies landing in this sauce. Add a little bit more veg if you want. Just a handful of peas. Bit of chickpeas, you know, all of this is gonna add to it being the most delicious curry. Here we go, lovely people. Daisy is a massive lover, aren't you, Daisy? So there you go, lovely people. There is a delicious meat-free meal. As you can see, it's been decimated. The bread's nearly all gone. Guys, was that a hit? Yeah! So there you go. Have a go. Nice veggie curry.
Say hello to a spiced parsnip soup like you've never had before, using Indian-inspired tricks to add show-stopping texture.
Parsnip. You know, one of the cheapest, most humble veggies out there, but it's an amazing sweet flavour and delicious. Let's take 3 for going in the soup and 2 for a little surprise later. I'm just going to take the ends off the parsnip. Now, just to let you know, I spent about 25 years cooking, and the amount of prep, the amount of peeled parsnips I've done in my life is painful. Don't peel them. The flavour is in the skin. It just took me 25 years to work it out.
Hack up the parsnips, then get the soup going in a pan on a medium heat with a tablespoon of olive oil and 1 chopped onion.
The flavour you can get from caramelising this is going to be incredible. Deep, savoury, delicious.
While that cooks for 20 minutes, getting golden and soft, with our other 2 parsnips, let's make some contrasting crispy texture.
And we're going to peel down the length of the parsnip, and we're going to make the most incredible little kind of crouton, right? So this is going to look funky, and it's going to taste crispy and sweet and delicious. Here we've got 1.5 litres of veggie stock. What I'm going to do now is just for 30 seconds, pop this in here, And that tiny bit of cooking is enough to take the rawness out of the parsnips and radically transform the texture.
Remove the blanched strips, saving the stock for later. Lay on an oiled non-stick baking tray, lightly sprinkled with sea salt, and roast for 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit.
And they will be delicious on top of the soup. Now, back in the pan, I want a nice 5 centimetre chunk of ginger, a couple of cloves of garlic.
Grate them in, add a teaspoon of cumin seeds and garam masala for a fragrant hum of flavour.
Now the smell's different level.
And to thicken it up, I want to use red split lentils.
200 grams goes in. They're super nutritious, fantastic source of iron, so it's a brilliant, clever thing to have in your cupboard, but also super cheap. Parsnips cheap, lentils cheap, but this meal is going to taste really expensive. One little secret ingredient that's inspired by our trip is poppadoms. You can buy them in every supermarket, uncooked, right? Just like that. But crack them up, and you can put them into soups and stews, so it's more flavour, more texture. It's a win-win.
Pour in the veggie stock, cover, and simply simmer for 20 minutes. Then get your baked parsnip strips on standby.
They're really crunchy and sweet. They're going to make the best croutons ever. Over here, you can see how it's thickened up. Look how beautiful those poppadoms are in it. It's like little sheets of lasagna. Really gorgeous and surprising.
Finally, sprinkle in some chopped coriander, season to taste, and dive on in.
And then we're going to take these crisps and just put it on top like that. It's completely eccentric and completely bonkers, but most importantly, it tastes incredible. So, let's have a try. Wow. Well, I'm going to show you my recipe for the most delicious veggie mighty mulligatawny. It's a great soup, it's full of the good stuff. Let me show you how to make this beautiful soup. It's so simple. Get yourself a high-sided pot on a medium heat. I'm going to use spring onions, but you can, of course, use leeks or onions. So one bunch we're going to use. A couple of sticks of celery, which is just beautifully fragrant. So I'll just cut the celery in half like that, and then lengthwise into little chunks and just finely chop it. Just put a little tablespoon of oil into the pan, and then as you're chopping each veggie, just get that into the pan. I really love the kind of sweetness that you get from this. So again, just finely slice the spring onions. In we go. So give that a nice little stir. What we're gonna do now is just gonna take it a completely different direction. You're gonna get amazing results with curry paste. They're really good quality. You can get all kinds of different pastes, so pick your favorite. And we're gonna put 2 tablespoons in here. What I love about it is it's a great family dish because you can use up leftovers. But I wanna concentrate today on this. Butternut pumpkin, as they call it in some parts of the world. So 500 grams is about that much. I'll cut this in half. I'll use the end that doesn't have any seeds just to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to leave the skin on. Why? Because it's one less job and because it has the most amazing flavour. So very carefully get yourself a box grater and just gently grate the flesh and the skin. There's actually something really nice about the kind of technique of grating. And I find that it kind of just gives you a slightly different flavour. Look at that, grated butternut pumpkin. So I'm just going to sprinkle this into the pan, and then let's grate the rest of it. And we're just going to sweat that off for a little bit while I have a quick little wipe down. So I want to show you like a little preparation
that I love to do. I get a little bowl and I put in some cold water. I'm gonna use the herb coriander. I've got a nice little bunch here and I'm just gonna pick through it. So that top leaf that's nice and beautiful, that will be garnish for sprinkling on at the end. And then with the rest of it and the stalks, I'm just gonna finely slice up and put it into that soup. And look, if you don't like coriander, some people don't, I love it. You could use a little bit of mint, which is really nice. You could even use basil actually. So in we go with the herbs. It smells amazing. So look, at this point, I'm gonna season generously with pepper and I'll put a nice little pinch of salt in there as well. I'll go in with 2 litres veggie stock. Better the stock, the better the soup. That will remove all the sticky bits from the bottom of the pan and that'll give you a nice dark colour as well. And then 100 grams of rice. So look, I'm gonna bring that to the boil and then simmer it for about 15 minutes until the rice is beautifully cooked. And you should end up with a really beautiful, tasty, slightly thickened soup that's gonna be a joy to eat. Right, 15 minutes. So this has had just under 15 minutes. I can see already that the rice is swollen up. So it's nearly there. Now, I did say this is a great opportunity to get more veggies into this great dish, right? And we don't just have to use veggies or any leftovers, you can use the freezer. So 2 great things that I always have in my freezer are frozen peas and frozen spinach. So 300 grams of each straight in there. Frozen spinach, sometimes people look down on, they think it's really substandard. It's a really brilliant little veggie to have in your freezer, ready to use. So now the spinach and the peas are in there, I'm gonna give it its last 5 minutes of cooking and I'll serve up. So it's been cooking away for 5 minutes, the rice has plumped up, it's absorbed all that lovely spice and stock. Have a little try of the soup. Oh, delicious. This is a really comforting dish and what I quite like to do is put some nice kind of sprinkles on it. These are all optional, by the way. So let's serve this up first. Look at that. Such a hearty soup. The colours are really amazing. If you want to, just a little teaspoon or 2 of yogurt allows you to kind of ripple that through. So you can crumble up some poppadoms or some Bombay mix and a little bit of crunch, just a little bit of fun. And then take those lovely coriander leaves and just sprinkle it over the top. Maybe a little kiss of olive oil. So there you go, guys. That is a beautiful, exciting, big, hearty dish. Right, let's have a little try. There's something about having rice in a soup that makes it ultra comforting. So come on, guys, what are you waiting for? Get the ingredients and have a little cook up. You won't regret it.
This is my Chilli Non Carne soup, which is a real winter warmer. It's so delicious. Loads of veggies in there, beans, rice, the butternut pumpkin, that lovely hum of the sweet, smoky paprika. It's a goodie, plus you got the nice crunchy bits of tortilla to enjoy with it. Happy days. Get yourself a nice casserole pan on a medium-high heat. We're gonna start with this, the butternut pumpkin. Take the end off and just cut down the length of the pumpkin. Let's scoop out the seeds. Slice into a little chunk like this. I want to get 2 onions, 2 cloves of garlic. Slice up the garlic as thinly as you can, and then finely slice the red onion. Let's just go in with a little drizzle of olive oil. I'm going to go in with the garlic first, and while that's frying, I'm going to take 2 chilies. Now, if your chilies are hot, just use 1, but these are kind of sweet and mild. I'm just going to finely slice these chilies. The seeds are quite hot, so by removing them, it just allows you to celebrate the flavour more than the heat. So already the smells are great. I'm going to use coriander. Coriander stalks are very, very delicious. I'm just going to finely slice these, keep the leaves for sprinkling over later. These stalks here, I'll put in with the chili. Then we can go in with our onions. So if you just sweat off the onions nicely for like 5-10 minutes, you're going to get big flavour, a sweetness, and it's going to kind of just bring all the flavours together really, really nice. Now, with the butternut pumpkin, you might be thinking the skin was left on here. It's delicious and it's outrageously sweet, almost like candy sweet. So the whole lot is going in the pan now. Right, the last thing I want to do to flavour this, because we're taking the meat out, is a brilliant little spice. This is smoked paprika. 1 heaped teaspoon goes in. That smokiness is kind of what you get from meat, and that will make a massive difference. Have 10-15 minutes of moving the veggies around, because that's going to intensify every single bit of flavour, right? If we just throw the wet stuff in, it's just going to be boiled stuff. We don't want boiled stuff. We want an amazing, rich, comforting soup. So look, we've had just over 10 minutes. You can see the caramelization in here, and you can hear that it's frying. And let's add the next ingredients. Let's talk about healthier swaps. First up, mixed beans. You're just getting a way more variety, and it's a brilliant source of fiber. So go in to the pan with the beans, and then 2 tins of water. I'm going to add some tomatoes. So you can crush those through your hands if you're kind of rugged and rustic like me, or you can just mash them in, whatever you like. So another little swap is swapping white rice for brown rice. Okay, so you're going to get more fiber. You actually get more flavor, which is really, really good. We want 150 grams, and you can let this sort of simmer quite fast for about 20 minutes. Now, the last job that I want to do before I chill out is do some crispy little tortillas. So another healthier swap is going from the white tortilla to the whole wheat one. Right, I love these. They're much more flavor as well. Tear up the tortillas, spread them out on a tray, and I'm going to put these into the oven just for like 5-10 minutes or until golden. And now I can just chill out. So the soup has had about 20 minutes. The rice is cooked. Oh, it smells exceptional. Right, tortillas. So these have been about 10 minutes to kind of get crunchy and delicious, beautiful. So soup, it's quite chunky, and some people love that. You can go pureed if you want, but that's not where I want to go. I want a bit of half and half. So get a potato masher and give it a ruddy good mashing. And it's going to give it a much creamier texture, make it more delicious, more intense. Get some of that coriander and tear it through. That, my friends, I'm very, very happy with. So we've got a load of food there. It's incredibly affordable. It's very, very nutritious. It's a really comforting dish. Got some of the tortilla chunk in there. Proper big bowl of tasty soup. Let's have a try. Big flavors, really nice, comforting.